This has been a long time in the making, and it hasn't happened yet, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's been worth the wait. I could see into the future. That's my special ability. I am joined. We'll see. I am joined by two individuals. I mean, how do you even begin to describe these folks? The most important thing that they both do is they represent New York on the West Coast, the left coast, the wrong coast, the lesser coast. I could keep going. Listen, they were telling me it's raining and people aren't going out because it's fucking rain. So I'm not taking back any of that. Let's see. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Rich, you go first. This is to decide who I'd introduce first.
7.
It was 7. So mystery guest number 2. You don't get to talk yet. Our first guest of 2. He is God, how do I even start? Platinum record, content creating musician extraordinaire. He has some new stuff out. It can't possibly be good as good as his old stuff because his old stuff is amazing. And yet every time he comes out with something new, I find myself goes right on the running playlist. I hope you don't mind that you're my running playlist guy.
Oh, we do.
You know him as Outasight. Rich, welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, pleasure is all mine. And of course, I'm calling it Emmy-winning actor because you're on something that won an Emmy. I don't give a shit. I'm doing it.
Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it happens. It's a real thing. I just appeared on his Sopranos podcast last week, so he had to get me back for this one. Both of these guys are returning podcast guests on the KFS pod. David Futernick. Fuddy, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Ooh, baby. I'm going to be living off of fumes from that win for quite a while because we might not get another one for a while. So
I got the
gotta enjoy
background because we're hanging a banner. We beat the Bucks in December 20.
But we didn't just beat the Bucks.
SportsCenter posted that video of Giannis miserable on the sideline. I mean, come on.
I just do.
Come on.
Well, that's because he remembered. That's because he realized he has to spend the next 4 seasons in Milwaukee.
Or he was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to hear Bobby Portis not shut the fuck up on the flight after this game.
I can't believe he's not him, man.
Come on, this is supposed to be my revenge game.
Bobby Poe was pissed. He was.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was supposed to be his revenge game, man.
I paid for him to drop 40. Come on.
I was prepared for it. I was so prepared for the Bobby game.
Bobby gets hot too.
Well, right. Be honest, both of you. I'll say it. I expected. You know what? No, I expected them to lose by 15. What were your expectations heading into the night?
Yeah, I expected them to lose by 15 when they were up by 15 at the half.
That's the biggest facts. Even in the third quarter, I was watching the game with my 10-year-old son, and I punish him by watching the Knicks with me.
Good man.
They're up 20, and I'm like, they're gonna blow it.
Yep.
Don't get excited.
I swear to God, they went up 28 in the fourth. I think one of the Frankie threes put them up 28. And I looked at the time left, and it was 9 and change. And I'm like, I'm still not safe. I'm not calling it. I can't call it yet.
I felt that way.
Yep.
We've been punished for years, so we're there's nothing. Yeah.
Let's start there. Fuddy, you've been on a couple times. Rich, this is your second time, but both when we have spoken in the past, it has not been. I mean, it's been fun conversation, but I don't know if I necessarily call it pleasant conversation because the matters with which we had to consume our time were not necessarily confidence inspiring. I don't know. I always look for excuses to drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah. I'm Mr. Kool-Aid. I run through that wall with vigor.
You are Mr. Kool-Aid.
Yeah. But
that's why people rely on you. I mean,
yeah, for sure. And honestly, I'm super proud to see your rise in.
No, stop it.
Your media pass, your interview.
True.
I'll cut this off right now if you don't stop.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, that's every Hooper nerd's dream And, a lot of people do it, and not a lot of people hustle all the way to where you're at and where you're going to keep going. So props.
Well, listen.
Yes. One more thing.
Yeah.
We've all been following the Knicks for years, and most of the beat has pretty much stayed the same, and they're all fucking grumpy as fuck, and I don't blame them because it's a brutal beat.
It is.
Your optimism is much needed. You know what I mean? There's not a lot to get optimistic about usually. So,
well,
on you. Good job.
Two things. I have come so far that I am recording this podcast in my in-laws' attic. I don't know. Would I call this an attic? I'm hunched because there's a. What's that?
Content. Then we're also in the middle of a pandemic. You gotta.
Yeah, this is like, we're doing our last visit before my wife pops. But in any case, I don't know whose room this is. My wife has a few sisters and a brother. This is like one of the spare rooms or something.
That's the Town Fair tire booth.
Look what I just found though. Can you see this?
Oh my God, it's the Spice Girls.
Yeah. I just found this next to where I set up. So I just had to, if you're just listening to the pod, go on the YouTube so you could see what back when the Knicks were good and nothing hurt and
well,
Spice Girls. So 1997, 8, 99 whereabouts. That is really legitimately the last time the Knicks were. I won't say good because we had 12, 13, but the last time we felt like there was something like long-term sustainable still in place. Right. And Leon Rose now has been here for 10 months. His biggest thing that he did was hire Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah.
The last time we had a real coach, again, I'll hold it up again. Last time we had a real coach, these folks were doing their thing.
Yep.
Where are we at on Tibbs? Because you want to talk about Kool-Aid? It's the Tibbs Kool-Aid for me.
Yeah, Dave.
There's no questioning that he has already put his finger on the scale. You see it in guys like Knox, who could not have had less confidence last season. And then you see him last night, that play where he battled on defense and they got a fast break off of it. The block.
Diving on the floor.
Diving on the floor. Not even worrying about hitting those corner threes now. I mean, he gets the ball and he would fucking give it up last year, or he would give it up, get it back, and fucking dribble in and do some knucklehead idiot take some stupid brick. I mean, there's no question, and Tibbs has his flaws, and we could go into that on another pod, but I think we should absolutely applaud how much harder working this team already looks and feels, because it's not a good team, but the effort is there, and that's coaching. I mean,
I agree.
Can't deny that.
They're playing hard, man, and the accountability, and I feel like this is such a buzzword, but the concept of building a culture for the Knicks, they're up.
But it's real. It's a buzzword for a reason.
They're up 25. Bucks make a little run. They don't get back on defense, and a timeout is called, and you just have to appreciate that he's holding everybody's ass to the flame all the way through. And frankly, look, I know we want to see the young guys way more than the vets, but Quickly was playing well. He looked like he was going to start playing more. He's given minutes to guys who deserve it so far. We're not maybe the Peyton thing, but he gave him a shot. But you know what I'm saying? Overall, he's holding. He said that he was going to give minutes that were earned, and I feel like he's doing that. Where we saw last year, especially with Fizdale, it was a total shit show. So guys are playing hard.
And I think just to pick up on something you said, you can't. I feel like as fans, we get caught up sometimes, and we want to have our cake and eat it too, right? We want to see the guys play that we want to see play, but at the same time, we want to see this brand of basketball. We want to see guys diving on the floor. We want to see guys giving the extra effort, and you can't I don't think you could have it both ways. If the coach is going to play the 10 guys that are most deserving to play, right, and are doing the stuff behind the scenes and giving you everything that you need, and I think we've seen that, and really through 3 games plus 4 preseason games, what are the big complaints about the minutes? I mean, I guess we could talk about Frank, but Rich, where are you at?
I have none. I mean, I feel like if Quickly hadn't gotten hurt, I might have been pissed that he hasn't started game 3. But I mean, look, the NBA is a league of averages, right? Like Peyton wasn't going to be that horrible for the entire time. I mean, and neither is Julius Randle going to be this good for the entire time. But look, besides that, I think it's been fair. Mitch played 35 minutes last night.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I mean, RJ's getting tons of minutes. Knox was the leading minute guy off the bench. So and that's the thing. I mean, look, some of these vets have to play well for the young guys to get an opportunity to play well. They need that consistency. They're gonna need help. You can't. It's a mixed roster. You know what I'm saying? It's just so. It's so far no complaints.
Fuddy, do you think we're finally at the place where we can just, as a fan base, which I realize putting us all under one umbrella is dangerous, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm gonna throw this fireball at you. Do you think we're finally at a place as a fan base where we could sit back and just relax and root for good basketball without worrying about like, wait a minute, no, this guy played 27 minutes and this other guy played 15 minutes. Like, I'm just so like of everything I want to leave behind. Like I'm so sick of doing that.
I mean, that being said, you had a newsletter yesterday that was like, dude, Elf needs to go the fuck away.
I did. I wrote that.
And I mean, and I agreed. And honestly, the start of the season was the first time that I felt like, and I've been the biggest Frank stan, and I was like, oh, maybe Frank ain't it. Right. Frank looks fucking awful, and he was great last night. So I do think maybe last night was that lesson, in regards to what you're saying. Like, let's just chill. The young guys are going to get their minutes, and we can't freak out because like IQ isn't starting the first, half of the season. I mean,
I feel like if he earns, he'll get a shot. But one thing I want to ask you guys is, Austin Rivers starts contact drills today. He's now going to be in the mix. Who's going to lose the minutes? In my opinion,
Frank.
I think it's Frankie. See, I think Reggie Bullock should hit the bench personally.
Yeah.
So Reggie,
he's not even doing what he's supposed to do, which is hit shots. Like,
he only played 17 minutes last night. I don't know.
Right.
Obviously, Burks is there, but
I feel like the league knows what Reggie Bullock is, because I do think that this front office is always, maybe not in the front of their mind, but in the back of their mind, is paying attention to asset valuation. How do we make sure our guys are looking as good as they can? And sometimes, I mean, and you kind of got to do that. I think the league knows what Reggie Bullock is. I think if Reggie Bullock sat on the bench for 10 straight games, he could get off and like show that he could run and jump sufficiently, and like his form looks okay, and a team is going to give up the same that they would give up for him.
About all of our vets, honestly, which is kind of funny you say that.
Well, Burks might have. I mean, how much has Burks raised? Whatever. I mean, I don't know what trade value he had beforehand, but
Yeah, no. I mean, Burks is it's funny because I went and looked back in like the Jazz subreddit, and I was like, "Oh, what do you think about Burks?" And they're like, "This guy's going to be a scorer somewhere. He just had to play in this rigid offensive system."
Yeah.
Burks is like a 40% shooter for his career, so get ready to hit some bumps in the road. I don't think we're going to see Alec Burks score 25 a game for the rest of the season, but he's been great.
I just ordered my jersey today. What the hell are you doing?
Alec Burks is going to lead the league in scoring. 6th
man of the year, baby. Come on. Carrying on the proud tradition of J.R. Smith and Anthony Mason.
I mean, he plays like this. Yes.
No, I agree with you. The league knows what these vets are. Well, with the possible exception of, and like we got to talk about him at some point. Might as well talk about him now, of Julius Randle. And actually, no. Before we get to Randle, let's finish up on the rotation thing. So, I agree with you. I think Bullock is probably out. But if Rivers so let's go from center on down. So Mitch, do we think there's a possibility Noel could turn into like a, sorry, big guy, we're going small tonight, you might not see the court? I'm not ruling anything out.
I think for now, no. But it could be interesting when Obi comes back, maybe.
But that's what. Let's assume everybody's healthy. Let's have the everybody's healthy conversation. Fuddy, would you be heartbroken?
I mean, that would require progressive thinking, and I like, as much as we want to talk about Tibbs doing a great job right now, you know, he still has dinosaur tendencies. You know, I see him really having to get pushed to do that. You know?
Yeah, the East is big too, man. So like,
yeah, that too.
You know, like they're gonna play big.
The Cavs are 3-0. Andre Drummond, clearly, it's, you know.
Dude, that's tomorrow night. That's like a winnable game, dude. I don't give a shit what their record is, but mine.
Yeah,
go ahead on the rotation.
So Noel probably going to keep playing. Mitch, Randall, Ob, RJ, Knox. I mean, it's getting late early here. Burks, Peyton's. Look, Peyton's going to keep playing. Emmanuel quickly, and I just rattled off 9 names. And I didn't say Bullock, I didn't say Frank, and I didn't say Austin Rivers.
Yeah. I think it's between those 3 guys. And I obviously everything's going to depend on situation. I mean, if you feel like you're not getting stops, Frank's going to get a chance. If you feel like you need to stretch the floor. Rivers obviously can do some playmaking, some ball handling.
I want to see Rivers. I'm excited. I'm like the only guy. I'm excited to see Austin Rivers.
Are you kidding me? Coach's son? Like, we're going to see him. Like, that's like... Yeah. He's a tailor-made Tibbs guy. He's going to get his minutes. Hopefully IQ's injury isn't lingering and he's nice and healed the next
we don't have an update yet, but who knows? Maybe we wind up seeing him on.
I mean,
but if his
night, he was the most exciting part of watching his team. But keep going.
Absolutely. But so you know, if God forbid quickly is not healing up as fast as we would hope. You know, I mean, it's going to be an easier decision for Tibbs. I mean, Rivers will be the first one off the bench. I don't know. If you had asked me before yesterday's game, I would say, like, I mean, give him Elf's minutes, you know? But
I never thought Elf was going to be out of the rotation. I've never once, even after I, wrote what I wrote over the weekend, I didn't think he would actually do it.
Right.
He's steady, even when he's bad. Like, and here's the other thing. And this is what Tibbs has done throughout the course of his coaching career, right? If a guy, he'll start a guy like Keith Bogans. Remember Keith Bogans in Chicago? That dude started like 78 of 82 games and averaged like 17 minutes or something absurd like that. Like, he'll do stuff like that.
Right.
So totally. I don't know. I'm curious to see which way Austin's going to play. I think Frank, whether it's because of injuries or whatever, if Frank can stay healthy, I bet Frank appears in more games than not for as long as he's here. I'll go out on that. I don't know. I would call it a limb, but
if we don't, we got a brain bang out of him last night. So, it's like that was a gangbang. That was the biggest of bangs. It was great. No doubt.
I mean, obviously, he's not going to shoot 100%, but if he can hit the 3 ball last night, once again, just watching him, I mean, he just can guard the whole floor. I mean, he's still a difference maker on defense. And, I think there's always minutes for a guy like that. Plus, look, let's be realistic. A lot of these veterans are going to get minutes right now because they're all going to get moved or hopefully moved. Rivers, Peyton, Burks, Reggie Bullock. These are all useful players. I mean, it's not a collection of bums. Like, these guys all can play minutes on good teams in different roles. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't think Peyton's a starter in the NBA, but he could be a backup point guard.
No, I think it. But if you look at I mean, it's early to talk about trades, but it's New York, so it's never early to talk about trades. If you look at
your deals, like what are they here for?
I mean, well, I think first and foremost, they're here to do what we've seen Burks especially do, but also, hopefully, when Rivers comes and listen, maybe all Noel was meant to do by coming here is light a fire under Mitchell Robinson's ass.
Oh, absolutely.
He's worth twice his contract if that's all he does.
And Mitch is on Instagram talking, let me be great, this, that, and the fourth. Bro, like, Sabonis toasted you, bro. Like, let you be great. Like, when it's time to negotiate a contract, we're going to show you that film, bro. You got fucking roasted.
But he's come back big time. He's been good.
And
Big
that's
time.
what you want from these kids. That's what you want. So Noel for sure.
So
take a fucking jumper though. I mean, come on. We were up like fucking 22 in the fourth quarter yesterday.
He was thinking about it.
Yo,
you saw that.
I did. Yes, I saw that. I
did it too. I said, shoot it. What?
He had the ball down here, like, and then he started to like raise it up, and then I think he added.
There's like 7 minutes left. All the fucking Bucks starters were taken out of the game. Fucking jack it up, bro. Like, come on.
We're all sick because we all thought the same fucking thing.
Thanasis Antetokounmpo is the human. I'm gonna take a three when I'm not supposed to. Like once he's on the court,
yeah,
you could do it. You're allowed. So yeah, but I'm interested to see what they do when they get to the trade deadline too, because if you look back over the last several years, it's actually really rare that the Marcus Morris type deal happens. Most teams don't give up first round picks. Obviously that pick was bad, but
this is my hope. We're already seeing guys hurt. I think the short offseason maybe presents a bunch of key injuries to playoff teams. And all of a sudden, guys like Julius are very tempting for teams because you need that boost of offense from somewhere. So that's obviously I don't want guys to get hurt, but like if it benefits the Knicks, I mean, come on.
Nobody wants
who gives a fuck? Yeah.
Let's talk about Julius. Rich, did you foresee any universe? We'll talk about like Marvel, like Doctor Strange, the multiverse, right? Did you think any of those universes would have one containing you after 3 games being like Julius Randle? Let's make the All-Star. Let's make the poster. Julius Randle for All-Star.
I don't really like how Julius Randle plays personally, but I watch a lot of NBA. I watched him a few years ago in New Orleans. He's a good player. Last year was a horrible situation to put him in, and he played horrible. Fizdale gave him way too much freedom, and he ran with it. But if you go and look at his career stats, the guy is a double-double, 50% from the field. Like, he shot like 40, closer to 40% last year because he's taking terrible shots. Yep. He had way too much invested in him on the offense. Now they're moving the ball a lot better so far. Yes, it's still pretty sticky with Randle, but the guy is a talented basketball player. He's, we obviously want RJ to score 30 a game and forget about Randle, but the fact of the matter is he can hoop, he can play. If he's going to play anything near this, I'm all for it. But obviously I think we'll all come back down to earth, but you got to give the guy props. If you're going to hate on him when he sucks.
Is it obvious, though, that he's coming back down to earth?
What do you think?
Let's look at the numbers. Let's real quick. Let's look at the numbers.
7?
He's averaging 24 points, 10 boards, and 7 assists. Okay.
And it was against 3 good teams.
If he does that, you got to give him a contract. Like, we're talking big contract.
It's the 7 dimes that's because look. Julius Randle could average 10 rebounds a game in the NBA. That's not a question.
No question.
I think hasn't he averaged 24 points, or maybe am I imagining that? Maybe I know he's averaged over 20 at least once. I'll look it up.
That last season in New Orleans, maybe?
In New Orleans, I think he was close. Yeah. So then you're looking at the assists. Okay, great. 7 assists. There's like 2-3 forwards every year, or big men even every year that could average that number. Like, if they put the ball in his hands this much and Tibbs gets a little frisky and fucks around and tries to put him on the floor with, like, I can't even believe I'm saying this, 4 shooters. I mean,
but this is where you can get carried away and then forget that there's another side of the court that needs to be played. And
we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
How many guys get like a backdoor cut and Julius has no idea where the fuck they are? I mean, he is so lost on defense. That's always been his fucking bugaboo. I mean, the guy can get buckets. And look, he's breaking a very bad habit that was like started by Fizdale last year, bringing the fucking ball up. He still fucking wants to do it. He has no business doing it. And he still dribbles into fucking 5 guys. The difference now is like he is starting to kick out. And so I see your point with with shooters around him. I think And granted, like who was he trusting to shoot the ball last year? I mean, honestly, like, kicking it out to fucking Reggie Bullock,
that was his best option.
That was his best option.
Yeah.
The guy is offensively talented, but I think we should slow down on the giving him a fucking contract.
That was Rich. I wanted for the listeners at home who are not watching. That was
saying if he went 24, 10, and 7 this year.
Right.
That's legitimate all-star production. Like, you're talking like,
True.
Well,
that's not.
So that's your first round pick at the trade deadline, because then
For sure.
Then that somebody is going to want that guy. I think. I don't know if you're going to have to take back a little bit of bad money, but.
Yeah, I mean, the year before, in 18-19 in New Orleans, he put up 21 a game.
It was 21 and a half. Yeah, I just looked it up.
On 52% from the field, 34 from three. I mean, that's a big thing. Right now, he's shooting 55% from three. I mean, it's a 3-game sample. I mean, These guys are going to come down to earth, unfortunately.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
But look, they're capable of big games regardless. You know what I mean? And if they move the ball, opportunities will present itself for different guys to have different nights. You know what I mean? And he's a guy who can pop off quickly. And then that you got to respect. I'm not a fan of playing style, personally.
We're also benefiting from Obi having a really shitty start to his career and being out.
Obi.
If he had started
off right out there. Putting it right out there, Fuddy.
I have to talk about him a little bit. But
if we had started out those first couple games like Obi just fucking tearing it up, we'd still be calling for fucking Randall's fucking head right now.
And if we lose to Cleveland tomorrow night and he goes and has 18 and 12, but we lose and he didn't do shit besides go get his buckets, we're gonna be calling for him again. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's
it's always a 2-game losing streak away from the fan base turning, right?
Write this in the history books, but yesterday might be our best win of the season. Hopefully not. But
will it be the win?
Prepared for that.
Or will it be the win that we look back on as the moment where?
That's that half glass bullshit.
Listen, man.
Let's go. Yeah, fuck it. You know what we got this week? We got Cleveland, Toronto, Indiana. I'm thinking 2-1. Let's roll.
And Atlanta. We always beat the fuck out of Atlanta. I'm seeing. What is that? 5 and 2 in a week. There you go.
If we're 5 and 2, we bringing this pod back.
Listen, this is becoming. If we're 5 and 2, this is a weekly thing. It's just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
No, we don't lose. We got to keep bringing this shit back. I don't know.
Okay, we can talk about Obi really, really quickly.
Yeah, I have a hot take. You guys got to convince me on Obi because I like Obi, but I'm a little concerned about Obi.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'll give you my talking points. Everybody has to have talking points. Here are mine. I think there are not many big dudes like him who can in the NBA who could put the ball on the floor, which we've seen him do it already, put the ball on the floor and make the types of passes he's making. Now, obviously, if he's not a threat behind the arc, that's not going to matter. And if he can't finish like he finished at Dayton, it's really not going to fucking matter. But that skill set, if those other two things translates, I know the shot's funky. You guys play pickup, or before all this happened, you were playing pickup. Are you guys still playing pickup? I should ask you that. No, it's on pause.
I fucking miss it. Yeah, listeners should know. Rich and I play pickup together normally in normal times.
In normal,
I miss it. It's been the hardest part of the pandemic for me.
Agreed.
Not balling.
Well, this year is almost over. Thank Christ. If you saw a guy shoot it like Obi playing pickup, you probably would not.
Open is what I'm gonna do.
Exactly.
That's like the guy. He shoots like the guy who's like wearing jeans on the court. Like
I thought you wore jeans on the court.
He made 3 the other night. I was like, what?
So let's.
I wear jorts. There's a difference.
I can see you in some jorts. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see on the shot. I'm not concerned about him around the rim. I just don't think he's he's been forcing it, and I think let me rephrase that.
Right.
I think he's being overly deferential. Like there was one pass he made, maybe it was in the preseason, where he had what looked like a semi-open look, like right at the rim, and he dumped it off to or tried to dump it off to somebody, and it's just like clearly he's going like over and above trying to like make the right play and all that shit. I think at some point he's just going to settle in.
Those baseline kicks are beautiful. Like his little
really
driving kick, he's got court vision for days, but the hesitancy to fucking dribble in is concerning. And look, I'm obviously the coaching staff knows that. They're going to work on that with him. But like the dude is so athletic, like he just needs to learn to grow a pair. I mean, and he's not a little boy. I mean, he's fucking, we've heard it a million times now that he went to college for 4 years. Like he shouldn't be playing like a 19-year-old, So that's my concern with him. And obviously on the defensive end is,
we don't have to. I'm sorry. We've run out of time on this segment. We have to move on.
Right. Playmakers around him to set him up to score. And I appreciate his athleticism. I thought he was more Amari, but so far I've seen him more like Sean Marion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He shot. He's a better passer than expected, but it seems like, he's definitely going to be a rim runner, pick and roll guy. So now it's another guy that I don't know. I don't know if I see him off the bounce creating that as much, but it's early. But frankly, I know this is hard to say a day after Elfrid Payton has a God level game, but I just wish we took Halliburton or another playmaker.
Halliburton is helping the Kings a lot. He's on the floor, not quite as much as Hield and Fox, but he's been playing. I haven't checked today, but I think he's been playing like close to 30 minutes a game or in the mid-20s. Like he's slid right in. I'm wondering. I don't know. It's no use crying over spilt milk. Let's give it some time. We can have.
Just have my concerns. He came up, but let's keep it moving.
Yeah. Quickly, we'll be back soon. If he has like 2 good games in a row,
oh baby,
I will not be held responsible for the words that I write, for the things that I say in front of a microphone. I'm
gonna post a lot of Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems saying, "Holy shit, I'm gonna come."
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to have a whole meme like category.
This is becoming like a trend now with the Knicks. Is like the second pick is the fucking jewel.
Yeah, right.
The first pick remains to be seen. The second pick, oh, mamma mia.
There is an overwhelming amount of evidence that guys come out of Kentucky who didn't necessarily be lead ball handlers who get the NBA and are like can really rock. Shy, Devin Booker. There's a bunch of names. Like my hope is this.
Tyler Herro.
This dude comes in here, and he fucking gets it. There's just no doubt he gets it. Now,
he was a top 15 recruit in a decent recruiting class, and then obviously came to Kentucky and they averaged whatever, like 3 points a game as a freshman. But it's not like the talent isn't there. You want to know what I did? Shiesty me. I went and found his high school coach online, and I emailed him about appearing on this very podcast. I have not heard back yet. I would like that too.
His rap is just like super hard worker, just getting after it. He seems like a big time locker room dude too. Like I'm into it.
Yeah,
just Lou Williams vibes, like for sure, Lou Williams vibes. So maybe he's not necessarily the point guard of the future, but he play makes and can shoot, and they don't have that on this team. So get this kid the rock is all I think.
No doubt.
We've said a lot of stuff, and most of it has been good. This is like,
that's weird.
It really is.
I was preparing for like our usual disgruntled, like morbid.
Discussion
today.
Out of this season, what do you really want to happen? You know what I mean?
That's the question. And I think we all, every fan needs to be honest with themselves. Cause like, it's one thing to say it before the season, like, oh, they're going to win like 25 games. But then when it gets into it, people forget that they said that like 3 weeks ago and they're like, what the fuck's going on? It's bullshit. No, but that's, that is what happens. Right. And like, I don't know it. Like I'm Kool-Aid guy, but like, I'm sitting here and I'm watching this. I'm like, what else did you want? Like, yes, it'd be great if Obi Toppin didn't get hurt and like, well, whatever else I'm cool with everything.
Even look at a guy like Knox. He had 8 points last night, 3 boards, but like you're watching the games like, oh, wait a minute. This dude's developing, right?
Yeah.
We just need these, like, we need that. We need these younger guys to show that. And it could be incremental. It doesn't have to be like massive, like, oh, Knox scoring 25. Like last night, he played well. He played like an NBA player, which we couldn't really say last year. I mean, that dude was like legitimately like,
and all the talk about how Knox is a 4, Knox is a 4. I used to fucking roll my eyes at, and now I'm like seeing it.
Yeah,
he's gotten a little tougher, you know.
Yeah. He's doing a way better job, and we need that. We're gonna need that from all these young guys who are kind of coming in and out to show that they belong in the league and can play. I mean, off the bat.
And
I think at the end of the day, what you want to see from this season is hope. Like a future. There is a fucking foundation. There's something happening.
Absolutely.
Like, that's all you can ask for. And this is, we never really know until we know what the draft class is and what they turn into. But obviously all the talk is that this draft class is fucking
loaded.
Awesome. Loaded. So we want to have a fucking dope ass pick. I mean,
but can I just say something real quick on that? Because I'm already preparing for what I'm going to hear later in the season when they, God forbid, win a game in April. This draft class has what is, I think, already shaping up to be one transcendent player in Cade, and then 3 other guys between Mobley, who is a center, which I don't know how
smooth, bro.
Oh my God. He's not of this earth. I mean, there's a world where I could see him actually, maybe not surpassing Cade, but like he's in my pole position for the number 2 pick right now. Then you got Suggs, obviously. Suggs, and then Green, and maybe Kuminga, but it's mostly Green, the kid who's playing with the G League team. Like the Knicks could lose every game for the rest of the season. They're still only going to have a less than even like 50-50 shot at getting one of those 4 guys. So just go out there, concentrate on this year. And then if it's in the cards, it's in the cards. If it's not in the cards, it's not in the cards. I mean,
the best thing that could have happened for enjoying a team that is, quote unquote tanking is the Pelicans getting the number 1 pick, with Zion. I mean, that's the best thing that could have happened to basketball, because then you don't have to I remember the Knicks winning that game, the last game of the season against the Sixers, and people freaked the fuck out because it mattered. It mattered. But like, this isn't the Jets. Worry about that now.
This isn't the Jets. Right. No, it's that's not what, So, I'm excited.
Fucked this up though. The Jets fucked it up.
Well, the Jets.
Oh God, they really did. God bless those. Rich and I are Yankees and Giants fans. God bless those fucking Knicks, Mets, Jets fans. My God, what a horrible existence.
The Beningos. They're the Beningos.
The Beningos of the world. Oh,
it's a brutal.
Good God.
It's a brutal.
It really is, bro. My wife is a Jet fan, so I'm not going to laugh at her. I just, to get back to just one quick thing, Rich, you said before, we got to have hope. Last year, there good stuff happened in games, but you never for a second got a sense that it was coalescing into something larger. Not one minute. Even when they won, I think they win 4 in a row, and then they lost like a double overtime game in Atlanta. Like, I tried to talk myself into that. Like, maybe Mike Miller's guys. No, we knew it. And we got to have that feeling by the end of this year, whatever the record is. And then, we'll see where we're at. I'm feeling good though right now. I'm feeling okay. 1-game winning streak.
Yeah, I think it starts at the top too. I mean, with Mike Miller, it was like, is this guy like gonna be our coach? This, that, and the other. Like, we have a legit coach who's definitely bringing accountability and has accountability, right? Like Mike Miller was a G League guy, came up. There was a lot of uncertainty. Like that was fun, kind of weird. Then it just all fell apart. Like Tibbs is like a guy, right? Like, you gotta fucking respect it. And so off the bat, it's a nice change. You know what I mean? Fizz last year Fizz can talk the talk, but he can't coach.
He's a great talker. I respected that so much.
He's a man. He's a cool guy. Don't get me wrong, but like, dude, eventually you got to coach these dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I just keep thinking of the shot of him in the huddle in the timeout where he doesn't have anything fucking drawn up on the dry erase board.
Oh, and it didn't have a word. It had like a catch.
Yeah. There was a word written on it. Like there's no play drawn. No X's and O's.
No, it was like compete or.
Yeah, right.
I need more than that, especially when you don't have any damn talent. I mean, look, this is not one of the most talented rosters in the league. So you're going to have to squeeze things out. And I think last night was a really good example. It was like, okay, look, we're going to play Giannis the way a lot of people play him. And they did a really good job. And Milwaukee didn't hit shots, and they moved the ball, and they hit threes, and it worked well. You know what I mean? And I think they'll probably be better than – what was their over-under? 18?
22 and a half. In 72 games. Hold on. Right. I'll get my conversion rate magic machine here. So over a full 82 game season, I think it's 25 and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
You could see us going over a little bit just from pure like Tibbs squeezing the juice out of it. It's not impossible. Like
25 and a half wins. That would what it would be in an 82 game season.
I could see them surpassing it.
I think so. I mean, I think guys are going to have to, you're going to have to get consistent production out of some guys who have been inconsistent, but coaching wise, I think we're in a good spot, and it's a good start, right? And it's culture, and I truly think RJ's gotten a lot better. I mean, Philadelphia, he just got locked down, but it's gonna be a lot of frustrating moments because of the shooting for sure. This team has a lot of bricklayers, but
you know what I've been encouraged by through 3 games, and I say this acknowledging that Dennis Smith Jr. did play time in at some point during these 3 games.
Out again tomorrow night. Thank the Lord.
Out again. Yeah, so we had some breaking news. We should say. I have not had a whole lot of moments where I've looked and like seen someone and be like, that guy probably shouldn't be on an NBA court, which I feel like in years past, like they have assembled an NBA roster. It is not a good NBA roster, but it is an NBA roster full of guys who are deserving to play in NBA basketball games. And if you give Tibbs just that, right? And then a guy like, and again, who knows where it goes, but a guy like Randall, guy like RJ, give him, a hot shooter or two on one night. I'm excited. Fuddy, what are your expectations? What are your hopes, dreams for the rest of the season?
Playoffs. Big playoff run.
10 teams make it.
I'm thinking home court.
20 years later, another A seed back in the finals, baby. I smell it. It. Look at, we already beat the Bucks once, dude. We'll do it again in 4 games.
But that's it. But listen,
the greater question is, no, go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
No, they could. If they could beat the Bucks, they could beat anyone.
John. Yeah. Don't spoil my joke by being John. I mean,
they gotta compete, man. They gotta compete.
Yeah.
They got some winnable games like this week. Like let's see these dudes compete. Like build off of this. Like you're not going to get 7 for 7 from 3 from Alfred Payton and Frank Ntilikina.
Probably not.
No.
So you're going to have to find different ways to win. But it's they got guys fighting for time, and hopefully it brings out some production.
Here's my hope. This podcast, we're not going to post it until Wednesday. I should say we're recording this on Monday. Let's hope that like they don't come out tomorrow and just lay a complete fucking egg.
But I mean, very possible. You know what I mean? You got to kind of be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Always possible.
Fans. They beat the Seahawks, and we legitimately were like, okay, we got a playoff run happening here, and they've dropped 3 fucking huge eggs in a row.
That's true.
Still not out of it.
Still not out.
Because that's how bad the division is. It's like all-time terrible division.
The most meaningful, meaningless game on Sunday versus the Cowboys, and then Eagles-Redskins on Monday night.
Sadly, the Knicks are not in that similar of a division. Although the Nets are sitting out Kyrie and KD, I think tonight or whatever the hell their next game is. So.
And Dinwiddie is out for the year.
Yeah, so. That's a tough. I feel. You know what? He obviously likes to fuck with Knicks fans, but I like that dude. I feel bad for him.
I have a few unrelated questions, but you're Knicks media, so I'm just gonna pepper you in it right now, real quick.
Pepper away.
What's the deal with Nets Daily? Why is that guy such a ball buster? God. And the second thing is, what's with all these ratings? Nets fans and Nets Twitter posting ratings and Yes Network. Yeah, no shit. You guys have better ratings. You have 2 world-class superstars. And you barely beating us. Like, get the fuck over it. What do we?
I think. Well, to answer your question about Nets Daily, I have not met.
Who is?
I have not met the mystical Nets Daily in person.
He's an old man, is he not?
He is an older
AARP guy.
He is an elderly gentleman.
A fucking curmudgeon. He is very grumpy.
He may or may not be within control of all of his faculties.
Shots are fired. We got beef now.
I talk about Nets Daily.
You hear that, Nets Daily? You're not in control.
Well,
you are not in control of your faculties. You heard it here first.
He needs to put in his hearing aid first, so I don't know if it's good. I brought him up on the pod I did with Evan Roberts. Evan Roberts didn't even know that he was an old guy. So I guess, it's not well known. Shout out to Nets Daily. You do great work. Then
you do a great job covering the Knicks. Fantastic job.
Yeah, he's obsessed. He's always coming across my timeline. I'm like, what is this guy?
I wouldn't know the Knicks TV ratings if it wasn't for him. So thank you.
If the Knicks signed Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and they had played like they played in the first 2 games, and the Nets and like the Knicks look like the Nets have looked over the first 2 games, I wouldn't know. Like you could be suiting up for the team across town, and I wouldn't know, nor would I care. But that's just me,
Right?
How many Nets fans Like, what are we
seriously?
About? Like, I grew up in New York. I didn't know a damn one Nets fan. They moved to Brooklyn, which became the trendiest neighborhood in the fucking planet. Like, and still, it was like they got no fans.
I mean, I've said this on the pod before. My school is a mile away from Barclays, and like. I ain't never seen any, I shouldn't say it. Up until this year, I never saw a kid in a Nets jersey, or a Nets like shirt or anything. I imagine whenever we get back to, normalcy, I'll see a few KD and Kyrie jerseys pop up, but
no. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of kids now, especially, it's really changed. I mean, we're all pretty much the same age in our 30s. But like kids, like they follow players, like they don't really have the same loyalties.
Well, Kyrie is like, I feel like LeBron and Steph occupy their own kind of stratosphere, but I feel like Kyrie is like he's like right there. Like kids, like I know his sneakers are like kids love the Kyries.
It makes sense because like I could see kids thinking the Earth is flat too, so it makes a lot of sense. They see themselves in him,
Totally. He's got the flat earther crowd. I mean, that's like a solid YouTube following.
If my students start bringing fucking Sage into my classroom next year, I am gonna flip shit.
It's Brooklyn. You never know. It's Brooklyn.
No, listen, I draw the line. I'm old school. Okay. Listen, I've kept you guys for far too long. You actually, you're both really talented people, and I'm sure you have better things to be doing than this. I very much appreciate your time. Before I'm doing more than the typical tell us where you could find us. Rich, you just dropped something. Would you mind self-promoting for a few minutes?
Oh no, I love self-promoting. I'm an artist. All I do is fucking talk about myself. Yeah, no, I just put out a song. I've been putting out like a song a month for like a few months, but I have a label. It's called 83 Sound, and I started it with my business partner and my producer, Cook Classics. We've been working together from the beginning of Outasight. He did Tonight's the Night, and we're still working together. And so not only am I putting out my stuff, I'm putting out a bunch of talented artist stuff. So it's been a really fun venture. So 2021, just more music. Oh, and I'm dropping a song New Year's Day. It's called Sinatra. As an Italian boy from New York, I grew up with a lot of Frankie Sinatra, so it's an ode to him. It's pretty fun song. So yeah, so if you're interested in the music, 83sound.com we'll get you up to speed. And let's go Knicks.
You're like I'm not the most sophisticated guy out there.
Perfect for you.
Well, here's the thing, though. I like songs. I'm just gonna be honest. I like songs that I could run to and that I could dance to, even though like I don't get to go dancing with my wife anymore because we're old and we have a child. But like I like to, when I listen to shit, be transported to the time and place where I used to be able to do that shit that I love to do. And your music always transports me to that place, and it just makes me happy and smile. So, you know.
Oh, I mean, my first song, Tonight's the Night, I said, if I got one chance, motherfucker, I'm gonna make y'all dance. So I've made a career out of just making people dance. So that's what I do.
And you're damn good at it. And Funny, you are also damn good at what you do. I think this is the Oscar year. I know it's
I feel it. Whoa, I feel it. Waiting, I'm waiting on the role, but yeah, once the role comes for sure, I think I will win the Oscar.
No, so. In all seriousness, you've been in a ton of shit. Like you're popping up every place. The podcasts are just killing it. Well, why don't you? Where can folks find you, and what do you got going on right now?
So podcast wise, you can always listen to my NBA comedy podcast called The Super Hoopers at The Super Hoopers. We call it an inconsequential discussion of the week's NBA news. We are the opposite of Nate Duncan. So if you're looking for stat crunching and fucking plus minus talk and fucking cap talk, it's the wrong podcast for you. But if you want to hear, strip club stories about James Harden, might be more your speed. So at the Super Hoopers. And then if you're a Sopranos fan, we just had John on last week at O Sopranos Pod, where we're going episode by episode covering Sopranos. Like men of our age, do, just in their own time, but we're recording it. And then career wise, waiting for the pandemic to sort of slow, but I do have a nice little part on Jason Kadam's new show, who did Friday Night Lights. Ooh. So we're waiting to hear when production can fucking start. And
you and every other
are bad here. Things are like as dismal as it could possibly be in LA right now. So, but it sounds like maybe February is
okay,
going to be the time. And until then, I'm counting down the days to when enough of us are vaccinated that we can ball again. So
can't wait.
Cannot wait.
I am.
I got a hoop in the driveway. That's the only thing I can do.
Can we set a date? Because I'm thinking I'm going to put it out there. I think Vegas. I think. Are
you proposing to us?
I am proposing.
Are you proposing to us right now?
And we're going.
Let's set a date.
Can we commit to that? If Summer League happens, like,
oh my god.
It's the best. I was so sad to miss it this year.
I know, me too. No, we got to do it. Well, maybe Rich, you could probably sneak us into some kind of party where we could get into some trouble.
I went with my buddy Dylan, and I went with my buddy Marty, who Dave knows, and we hit a couple of clubs. My homie was DJing.
Oh, nice.
Clubs is fine, but I'm old, and I don't give a fuck about clubs. Yeah. I got to be honest. But the basketball, the nerdery, and then let's just go gamble and just hang out and drink bourbon at a bar somewhere and just fucking talk about the dumb shit you just watched. It's literally like Comic-Con, but for basketball nerds.
Yes.
It's the best
Actually,
thing.
literally what
It's the
it is.
fucking best. It's the best.
I didn't go last year, and a lot of shit that I didn't do, I think about it, and I'm like, damn, I should have done it. Obviously, no regrets, but whenever we get all pricked up, let's fucking roll. I ain't taking shit for granted.
Listen, it's happened. I mean, Freddie knows this. My uncle lives out in Vegas there now. I got a free place to stay. My wife is already, she's not fucking around because she's popping out this kid in the beginning of March. And she's like, I will be in shape for Vegas. We're doing it. It's happening.
Won't be,
Love
but that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I will. Maybe, January 1.
Yeah.
Resolutions, baby. Let's go. The Knicks are on a 1-game winning streak. Let's be positive.
Now, like we said, if they go 4-0 this week, I'll see you guys same time.
Oh, God. Okay.